trouvez que je ne meurs pas assez vite?
C'est pas le moment de mourir. Il est retrouvé.
Vous savez qu'il ne peut pas revenir.
Pourquoi ça?
Parce que je l'ai tué.
I'll never forget a family caravan holiday we took in mid-Wales as a child. Dad had found a beautiful pitch overlooking the sea and it never rained, which, if you know the reputation of the country, I am here to tell you that's not entirely deserved. But the reason I'll never forget the break isn't just because of the wonderful sunny days and family memories. No, the first thing that always comes to mind is that it was the one and only time in my life that I can recall at one point being frozen to my seat with absolute terror, my entire body electrified. The first night Dad set up the TV, the only channel clear enough to watch on the tiny 7-inch black and white screen was BBC Two, so BBC Two it was. The family settled down, lights out, hot chocolate and cheese sandwich to hand to watch the 9 p.m. film. Called Reflections of Murder, I was expecting a standard murder mystery, but I was hooked from the start. This was a different story. Elements of abuse, woven with menacing supernatural undertones. The cast of Tuesday Weld, Joan Hackett and Sam Waterston, gleaning every bit of unease from the horrors unfolding, until that moment when my love for the terrifying was born. I'd grown up with 60s hammer horror, early Doctor Who and The Funky Phantom. But none of those could have prepared me for this. It wasn't until many years later that I discovered what I'd actually seen was a remake, a made-for-TV offering directed by John Badham. Badham went on to bring us some of the best love films of the 70s and 80s, and from a golden age of some knockout television studio-forged gems. Reflections of Murder was a brilliantly observed remake of an extraordinary French masterpiece from 1955. Extraordinary in a way that it contained scenes that Hollywood would have perhaps been highly apprehensive to go near at that time. And when the UK was largely sticking with its tried and trusted formula, France had quietly and confidently set a new milestone.
Il y a des choses difficiles à avaler, ce n'est pas du poisson que je parle.
Non. Oh non.
Based on the novel She Who Was No More, Diaboliques, or The Devils, The Fiends, conjures up the darkly twisted tale of Christina, Nicole and Michelle. Scornful and overbearing Michelle runs the boarding school owned by wife Christina. Timid Christina has a heart condition, enabling him to blatantly take Mistress Nicole with little objection from his wife. But this is almost an arrangement of convenience, with both women enduring the barrage of mental and physical abuse by Michelle. They share a common ground, albeit tentatively, and a common contempt. Their disdain intensifies as Nicole arrives at school with fresh bruising on her face, while in one particularly humiliating scene, Christina is forced by Michelle to eat spoiled fish at the dining hall, while the pupils watch on in obvious unease. Something needs to be done.
Attention le sourd, tire-toi!
Nicole hatches a plot. A weekend holiday is upon them. The women are to travel to Niort, where in her apartment building they're to lure Michelle there under Christina's threat of divorce. Though very reluctant, Christina goes through the motions, convinced that Nicole wouldn't have the nerve to follow the plan through. She makes the call. She wants a divorce. Michel is coming. His favourite whiskey is laced. Nicole takes herself away to her tenant's apartment. It's up to Christina now. But this is an almost unthinkable task for anyone other than the most callous. It's almost impossible for her, a former nun and still God-fearingly pious. Perhaps this isn't the time. Perhaps this isn't the way. Michel is having none of this. He's taking her back to the school, threatening her with her own orthodox beliefs. Even through her illness, though, Christina is used to these confrontations. She stands her ground. Michel attempts to leave to speak to her lawyer. There isn't one. She lied. He feigns affection, which throws her for a moment. Then things spiral quickly. Michel reaches for the whiskey.
Un brave petit gars honnête.
Michel.
Nom de Dieu, mon prince. Tiens. Ça sert vraiment à rien d'être gentil avec toi.
And the trap shuts. The evidence is disposed of. The drug is taking effect. Nicole is back. She fills the bath.
Par où es-tu passé?
Je rentrais par là directement.
He's out like a light. Almost done. They return, Michel's body in a trunk, to De La Salle School. There they dump the body in the disused pool and wait. Word is about that Michel is missing, but not for the first time. The women are anxious, none more so than Christina. This is a strain on her. She needs the body to be found.
To find. To.
It will look like a drowning accident. All their problems will be over. Nicole has a plan. The following day, while the boys play football, she drops her keys in the pool. One of the boys offers to retrieve them for her. This is it, isn't it? But again, nothing but the principal's cigarette lighter. The pool will need to be emptied. In her haste, Christina pays the concierge. Do it immediately, she tells him. But the pool is empty. The body is gone. The women are frantic and bickering. A body doesn't just disappear. Somebody must have taken him. And then...
Entrez.
It's Michel's suit. The one he was wearing when they threw him into the pool. It's back from the dry cleaners. And stranger, when the two visit the cleaners to get more information, it seems there was a hotel key left in the pocket. Naturally, Christina checks out the room. But the place is empty, rented in Mr. de la Salle's name, but he's never seen. The girls are squabbling again. Christina wants to go to the police. They blame each other. But there's been a development. A body has been discovered in the Seine, matching Michel's description. Christina visits the morgue. Finally, they have some sort of closure. The finer details check out, and the body from the river is brought up. It's not Michel. Here, Christina meets Albert Fichet. Fichet, a retired senior police officer turned private investigator, offers to get involved with the case and vows he will discover the whereabouts of her husband. Much to Nicole's disdain, Christina agrees, but Fichet is getting too involved for the girl's comfort. He's thorough, very thorough. He's like Columbo 15 years before Columbo was a thing. It's only been 5 days, why are they looking in the morgue and draining the pool? Monsieur de la Salle was a fine swimmer by all accounts, and out of 20 ties, Christina easily recalls the one Michel was wearing when he went missing, and the suit.
De gale gris.
Comme celui-là?
C'était un détective, plantivolé.
Un privé, les mi-cochons, c'est la mitraillette. Ratatata.
But now, right before his eyes, the mystery darkens further. Little Monsieur Moynet is clearing up leaves as a punishment for breaking a window. When questioned who punished him, he replies, it was Monsieur de la Salle. Moynet is known for his fantastical stories. He's ordered to stand in a corner until he's learned his lesson not to tell lies. But why would he punish himself? It's annual school photo day. It seems strange to the boys to have it taken without the principal present, and Madame de la Salle is under strict instructions from the doctor to remain in bed. The shoot goes well. Moynet is allowed off punishment to be included. Nicole and the remaining teachers are present. But when the image is developed, there's no doubt that's him. Nicole insists they leave immediately, but where? He'll be there wherever they go. Christina can't go anywhere, she's too ill. Nicole can't stay. The women part ways. Fichet's returned. He seems to have a great deal of sympathy for Christina, but she's had enough. Enough.
Vous trouvez que je ne meurs pas assez vite?
Mais qu'est-ce qui vous prend, ma petite dame, voyons? C'est pas le moment de mourir. Il est retrouvé.
Vous savez qu'il ne peut pas revenir.
Pourquoi ça?
Parce que je l'ai tué.
She confesses everything. The trip to New York with Nicole, the murder, the body in the wicker trunk and dumping it in the swimming pool. He's struggling to believe any of it and insists she gets the rest she needs. The school settles down for the night. The lights go out, and the real terror begins.
Qui est là?
In keeping with director Henri-Georges Clouzot's request at the end of the movie, he tells you himself, don't be diabolical, don't destroy the interest your friends might have in this film, don't tell them what you've seen, thank you on their behalf. Les Diaboliques is quite literally the film Hitchcock wished he had made, he and Clouzot both pitching in the rights to the original novel. Clouzot ultimately won out, but the similarities between Diaboliques and Hitchcock's Psycho 5 years later is hard to ignore. The murder in the bathtub, the mundane settings, the prying investigator, and the shock finale. But there are some genuinely funny moments in Les Diaboliques which are absent from Hitchcock's masterpiece. This certainly makes the shocks hit harder when they come. And I don't often say this because I love Hitchcock and I love Psycho. It still packs a huge punch, especially for the first-time viewer. But for me, the pacing of Diaboliques makes it the better film. Hitchcock himself might even agree. Les Diaboliques is available on DVD and Blu-ray, and at time of writing on Amazon Prime. It will hook you in, with a finale that could turn your hair white, even 65 years later. I hope this has wet your whistle, excuse the pun, to check this one out, guys. Coming up next, we've got the 1974 shocker that inspired John Carpenter to make Halloween. We're getting festive with Black Christmas. Please like and subscribe, there's loads more on the way.